From plague pits beneath London to a secret apartment inside the Eiffel Tower, this gets strange fast. Let's get into it. The Eiffel Tower, the 20-year throwaway. Let's start in Paris. The Eiffel Tower, the symbol of France, was built as a temporary structure for the 1889 World's Fair. The original contract gave it 20 years before demolition. Gustave Eiffel knew the only way to save it was to make it indispensable. So he turned it into a scientific platform. Radio telegraph experiments, weather observations, early wireless communication tests. By World War I, the tower's radio station was intercepting German military signals, intelligence that contributed to French operations at the Battle of the Marne. That military usefulness, combined with public affection, killed the demolition plans for good. And while tourists were staring up at it, Eiffel was living in it. He'd built a private apartment near the top, furnished with patterned wallpaper, a piano, even cozy armchairs. Thomas Edison even visited once. Plenty of others asked and were turned down. The Brooklyn Bridge, wine cellars, and a deadly stampede. The Brooklyn Bridge was so expensive to build that the city had to get creative to cover costs. Inside the massive granite anchorages on each end, engineers constructed huge underground vaults, naturally cool, perfectly sealed. The blueprints literally labeled them as wine cellars. The city rented them out. But the bridge also carries a dark early chapter. Just 6 days after opening in 1883, a woman tripped on the stairs. Someone shouted that the bridge was collapsing, and the resulting stampede killed 12 people. To restore public trust, P.T. Barnum marched 21 circus elephants, including the famous Jumbo, across the bridge the following year. The message was unmistakable. If it holds elephants, it holds you. The Statue of Liberty, the explosion that sealed the torch. Most people assume that the Statue of Liberty's torch is closed because the stairs are old or unsafe. The real reason is an act of wartime sabotage. In 1916, agents blew up a munitions depot on Black Tom Island just across the harbor. The explosion was powerful enough that shrapnel tore into the statue itself, damaging the torch and the surrounding arm. The torch has been closed to visitors ever since, more than a century later. Mount Rushmore, the unfinished vault behind Lincoln's Head. Behind Lincoln's Head at Mount Rushmore is a hidden chamber straight out of a thriller. Sculptor Gutzon Borglum envisioned a grand hall of records, a vault carved into the mountain to preserve America's founding documents for future generations. Construction actually began. Workers blasted a 21.34 meter or 70-foot tunnel into the granite before funding ran out and the project stalled. The planned staircase, bronze doors, and Great Hall were never built. What remained was a rough, unfinished cavern. In 1998, a titanium vault was placed inside, containing porcelain panels that document the monument's history, a message left for whoever finds it next. The Great Wall of China, sticky rice, and the world's longest cemetery. How has the Great Wall survived centuries of weather and warfare? Part of the answer is sticky rice. Ming era builders mixed slaked lime with sticky rice soup to create a mortar that was unusually strong and water resistant. The amylopectin in the rice gave it a binding quality that outlasted nearly everything around it. In many stretches, plants still struggle to take root between the bricks. The same wall earned another, darker nickname, the longest cemetery on Earth. The exact death toll among its builders is unknown, but it was enormous. Many of those workers were buried alongside the very sections they died constructing. The Colosseum. Before the gladiators, there were naval battles. Most people picture the Colosseum as a gladiator arena. That's accurate, but early on, it hosted something even more spectacular. Before the underground hypogeum was constructed beneath the arena floor, the Colosseum could be flooded. Water was channeled in from nearby aqueducts, and ancient sources described full-scale mock naval battles with actual ships and hundreds of combatants. Once the hypogeum was added, flooding the arena wasn't structurally possible anymore, and the spectacle had to move to purpose-built venues elsewhere in the city. The Golden Gate Bridge, the net that built a club. In the 1930s, the construction industry had an unspoken rule. It expected roughly one death per $1 million spent. With a $35 million budget, the Golden Gate Bridge was statistically owed 35 lives. Chief engineer Joseph Strauss rejected that logic. He installed a massive safety net beneath the entire span, a virtually unheard of safety measure at the time. It caught 19 workers who fell during construction. They formed a half-joking fraternity they called the Halfway to Hell Club. But tragedy still came. Near the end of construction, a scaffold collapsed and tore through the net, killing 10 men at once. The final death toll was far lower than industry norms, but not zero. The Hoover Dam, the cooling system nobody talks about. The Hoover Dam looks like a single solid mass of concrete. But if engineers had poured it that way, the internal heat from the curing process would have taken well over a century to fully dissipate, and the whole structure would have cracked from the inside. The solution was to pour the dam in thousands of interlocking concrete blocks and run miles of concrete pipes through each one, connected to a dedicated refrigeration plant. The system removed heat fast enough that the concrete could cure safely and bond into a unified structure. One persistent myth is that workers were entombed inside the dam. That never happened. What is true is that the high scalers, workers who dangled from ropes to blast the canyon walls, helped pioneer early industrial hard hats, evolving the technique from tar-hardened canvas caps into the first true safety helmets. The Empire State Building, the airship port that never was. The Empire State Building's famous spire wasn't just decorative. It was designed as a functioning docking mast for airships. The vision was ambitious. Transatlantic zeppelins would moor at the top of the building, and passengers would walk a gangplank directly into the 102nd floor. In practice, the winds at 366 meters, or 1,200 feet, were relentless. Even small blimps struggled to hold position. One test mooring lasted only minutes before the airship had to pull away. The Hindenburg disaster in 1937 ended the era of passenger airships entirely. The mast stayed, but as an architectural relic of an age that almost was. The London Underground, the plague beneath your feet. The London Tube is the oldest underground railway in the world, and when you spend 150 years digging under one of history's oldest cities, you had some genuinely unsettling things. During construction phases in the 19th and 20th centuries, workers repeatedly broke into old burial grounds, including mass graves from the 1665 plague. Stations like Aldgate sit directly above known plague pits. Over time, that grim reality evolved into urban legend. That entire tube lines had to be rerouted because the ground was simply too full of bodies. There's no documented evidence for that specific claim. But honestly, the verified truth is already eerie enough. Sticky rice holding up ancient fortifications? A private apartment at the top of the Eiffel Tower. An unfinished vault waiting inside a mountain. The more you look at these landmarks, the more history keeps falling out of them. Let me know in the comments which one surprised you the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.